there, Sandra here from Siser, Juliet Beginners to Pro and Createinspain. Before I start this video, just a reminder, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Consider subscribing to Createinspain on YouTube as well as my Facebook page, because you never know, you might miss something of interest. I don't monetize my channels at all. If you get adverts, that's nothing to do with me. I get nothing from it. And it's really nice if you leave comments underneath videos, because then at least I know what you like and you don't like. So give it a thumbs up if you like it. Don't bother if you don't. Or actually, yeah, you can, because that promotes me on YouTube as well. Why do I care? All right, I have another video for you regarding Leonardo and the line fill and the etching tool. I made a video and put it out yesterday, which was one on how to get accurate placement for your etching on items that are already cut out, so acrylic discs, dog tags, whatever it is that you're doing, okay? And that video was almost a repeat of one that I did a year ago when the Siser machines were first out and I showed how you could actually etch. And I got flack for that video because said, oh, it's not something that you're allowed to do on the Siser. Oh, forget it. Now it's actually official. You can etch with your Siser, Juliet or your Romeo, and they've brought out tools to enable it. Now I have exactly the same type of tool, which I've not used much because I was using my own tools beforehand, but I've got some that I bought from AliExpress that cost me about 12 euros. So yeah, they appear to be exactly the same as the official Siser tools which are coming out. You take your pick, do what you want to do. Doesn't make any difference to me. But what I wanted to do today was to give you an alternative method for doing the aligning for your etching. And this one is going to be one that some people probably wouldn't have thought of, but yeah, it's the way my brain works. It just does. So I've got some 5.5 centimeter blank acrylic blanks that I cut on my CNC a long time ago. So I'm going to use that for demonstration purposes. So in the Siser Leonardo software, I have drawn a 5.5 centimeter circle. Now what I'm going to do is to assign that line to a cut tool. All right, and then what I can do, I can send it as a print and cut and send the design. So just click on send. Now it's going to put my marks around my actual object, which is fine. I'm quite happy to have them there. And I also have the cut line. Now the cut line I'm not going to be using other than to cut it on paper. And that is the only artwork I need to actually print the registration marks. So I'm going to send that to my printer. Now, if you're going to do this, make sure that you know which is the top and which is the bottom, which is why I've put mine over to one side, so I can tell exactly which way up it's got to go in my cutter. So now all you need to do is to put that to your cutter and it will cut out the circle. So we want that one and we want to go to send to cutter, and you can choose whatever settings you normally use to cut your printer paper. So what this does is allow you to place your item within that hole there. Okay, so you would place it in there as you wish to place it. Paying attention if you've got any like holes, if you're doing keychains or something like that, you'd want to make sure that the hole is in the vertical position. And then all you do is send it to the cutter with your chosen design. So you go back to design. Let me see, I'll pick something up from the design library. Let's just go for something, whatever else to come up first. Okay, I've got a rabbit. Okay, so we have our little bunny rabbit here. Now I'm not going to mess around with the design itself, so I'm going to put it in there. I would go down to the Etch tool. Sorry, that's off my recording there, but I'm going down to the orange dot and the Etch tool, selecting that, and then I will go here and choose my line fill. Now I did a cherry version yesterday and these lines are too far apart, so I would actually probably take it down to about 30 or maybe even 20 and do that way. So assuming that I don't want the bow and all the rest of it, because this has just done the basic outline, then that will be okay. Just click on accept and it has turned orange. So I now send it back to the cutter with the etching tool in place. Use my wooden tongue depressor or whatever you like to call them to do the spacing to make sure that the etching tool is in the correct vertical position over my acrylic disc. And then get it to read the registration mark. This should give you perfect alignment. If you center that to your circle, then that's where it's going to be, same as it would be if you were doing a print and cut. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The only thing I suggest you do is select the outer circle and just set it to print instead of to cut, because you don't want the machine getting confused by that. And to then select both of it and group it before you send it to your cutter. And you can see that we have the rabbit, which is in exactly the position that it needs to be, and we got the circle. We're not cutting the circle, we are doing the rabbit. I'm now going to send that to the cutter and get it to read the registration marks as it did before, just to make the cut. Click on OK, and it's reading the marks. So it's now doing the etch. Now you may be wondering why you want to group these two things in the first place, and the simple reason is you do not want those registration marks to change. If you don't have them grouped and you send just this, the registration marks are going to be just around this, because I'm choosing to have my marks around my design rather than just page marks. If you have page marks, it wouldn't make any great difference. So here you can see that the rabbit has been etched on here. And in fact, I'd forgotten to set the etch settings to wire force, and I've only got it on a force of 15, and it still etched it. But I do have a very soft material. These are polycarbonate, I think, and not true acrylic. So here we are, my item is etched. Now, as I did say in a little bit of video that I recorded looking at the machine, this is actually polycarbonate, it's not proper acrylic, so it might be softer to etch. I don't know. I mean, it looks like acrylic, it behaves very similar to acrylic, but it's not actual acrylic. It was labelled polycarbonate. So I have a perfect little bunny etched on here, exactly where I expected it to etch. So you can use the registration mark method if you're nervous about using the camera. And to be fair, you know, if your eyesight isn't that great, then maybe registration marks are the easier way of doing it. But do make sure that your outside line is actually grouped with your design, because if you don't, the registration marks will go around your design, unless you use full page marks, in which case you don't have that issue. So that is one way of doing it. Now, I didn't have to put double-sided tape on the back of this, which was a blessing, because I did some yesterday with double-sided tape, and I've still got the double-sided tape on my mat, which is a bit of a pain in the neck. But I did put some masking tape, as you saw, over the top and the bottom just to stop it from moving. You can do it with a print and cut method. It's an alternative. Just take your pick. Thanks for watching. As I said, like the video, subscribe, and leave some comments down below.